WIN Stadium is the venue for this round 18 clash in the Telstra Premiership. It's the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the visiting Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the Dragons team first. There is one change for them to their starting 13. Trent Barrett is out of the side after suffering that concussion against Great Britain for Australia on Friday night. His place taken in the halves by Aaron Gorrell, and on the bench that brings Luke Felsh into the side. The coach is Andrew Farah. For the Bulldogs, they also have one omission coming out of Friday night's test match. That omission is Willie Mason. His place is taken by Paul Rauhihi in the front row. That brings Dennis Scott onto the bench, and the fullback Luke Patton is playing his 100th first grade game. The coach is Steve Folkes. And now we have 80 minutes of football coming up here at WIN Stadium. It will be the Bulldogs who defend the southern end of this particular stadium on a day which has a slight breeze perhaps favouring them in the first half. We'll see if they can use that. Kickoff bounces down for Patton, and it will come to Stephen Price, who brings it back outside the 10. Met there by Timmins and Brent Kite. Combination on the right-hand side of the field for the Dragons. They go from dummy half, and Bailey comes up and puts a big hit on Corey Hughes. There's Utai. What a season he's had. Yes, yet to taste defeat as a first grader for the Bulldogs. Made his debut back in round 4. They have been winning ever since. Hughes again gets to dummy half, and he feeds it back to Anasta. Spiral kick away, which will bounce down towards Shane Lalota on that left-hand side for the Dragons. He'll bring it back just outside the 20.
Good start there by the Bulldogs, and in that tackle that Rahi took the ball up, he is limping, and Luke Bailey looked to be knocked out. He is in all sorts of trouble in the back plate. He's now with the trainer.
Here's Brent Kite. One off the ruck to the left-hand side. There is Bailey. He, as you say, Laurie, has been struggling in the back play there and still trying to just regain himself. In fact, just being walked up towards the line of play by the trainer. We'll keep an eye on him. Here's Justin Smith, who takes it across the halfway line for the Dragons. Riddell feeds it to Gorrell, who does the kicking first up here, off the legs of Patton. Well played by the fullback. He's almost away, dragged down by the tackle of Justin Smith. El Masri from dummy half, jinking his way up towards the halfway line. He's a dangerous player, Patton, given the chance to find a little bit of space. Here is Rauhihi, who was also limping to have much pace on him that particular hit up. Glenn Hughes, lovely ball back to Anasta. He's got support. Vangana is there. Now it's a race between Vangana and Hoggy, but the leading try scorer won the race. Was he onside?
Onside, thanks, Jules.
Well, from the naked eye, I thought Vangana was just a little bit in front of Braith Anasta. Wonderful start for the Dogs, splitting the Dragons on their left edge. We see here, I'm okay with that. When I first looked at it, I thought he was in front. And then he got a lovely bounce. Oh, he might have dropped it. Great chase by Louis Hookie, getting his hand in there, knocking it out. Oh, I think he's lost control of that, then regained it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Laurie. Certainly lost the ball there. Had no control on that football.
Off the ball, he's lost control of it, Vangana, but it was a try.
He comes up with a no try, and it will be a knock-on against Vangana in the in-goal area, and a 20-metre restart. Wasn't quite as perhaps clear-cut as it might have looked first up. There was still some chance that he could have awarded a try to Vangana, but he saw it the way I think most people expected it to go. Here's Bailey now. He takes it up towards the 40. Concussed, or at least dazed in the opening exchanges. Here's Riddell at dummy half. Comes to Kite, who steps back in towards the play the ball area. Almost beat the tackle there of Rauhihi and Hughes. Hooper, another good gain, just one off again, angling back in towards those A defenders, if you like, in the Bulldogs line. The kick on the last tackle. Patton will have to reverse and get back into the end goal to pick it up, and when he does, there were 6, 7 or 8 of them. In fact, he might have lost the ball, and the Dragons have claimed a try.
The ball was lost. Look at it. Yeah.
if it's fourth or if it's lost. We've got to look into doing the tackle as well.
Here is Patton trying to beat them. Riddell couldn't go with him. Hooper got a piece off him. Riddell comes to make the tackle there. The ball hits the knee, comes off Luke Bailey, and then he puts the hand on it to claim it. I think that's a try.
That's a try. Tremendous bit of work by the Dragons. The chasers. Riddell chased his own kick. Luke Bailey was knocked out in the first minute of play, charging through, getting his body down on Patton. Patton loses the football. And that's a race between Bailey and Hornby to get their hands on the football. And this will be a 4-pointer.
I think it finds the knee of Bailey has actually knocked the ball loose. As you say, he was there, and Hornby at the same time, both claiming the try.
It could be something of a first for the front rower if it is a try, and it is. Luke Bailey gets first points for the Dragons. And it's 4-0. St George Illawarra over the Bulldogs. Here it is again.
And it was just great work by Riddell. They'll spread their kicking game around a little bit this afternoon with no Trent Barrett. He's their main kick-up. Hornby, Gorrell and Riddell will all share the kicking duties. Wonderful chase by the front rower in Luke Bailey, and then forcing the mistake and scoring the try.
Riddell from pretty much right in front. What a start for the Dragons after they look to have given up 4 points at the other end of the field. And the Vangata chase through. And as quick as you like, the Dragons have come down the field and made it 6-0. The home side over the visitors and competition leaders early on here in Wollongong. Anasta gets us back underway. Kick-off which will bounce down towards Brent Kite, who feeds it to Jason Riles, met there by Reardon and also Norton. 4.5 gone already. The Dragons on the ball. Riddell will give it to Bailey.
3, clear him.
A long time coming, that first try for him. Smith.
4,
Up around the legs by Corey Hughes with Vangata over the top. The dummy half Riddell running before he gives it off to Hooper. They've done pretty well in the sets of 6 inside their own half so far. Here's Hornby now as they put it through their hands. Timmins just chipping over the top. Patton did very well though.
That's one, let him stand.
Bounce could have easily gone to the left or right and made it hard for him to pick it up, and did so under pressure. The Bulldogs have got it here in pretty good position.
10, make it back, Mark. Hold.
Talau will play it just on his own side of halfway. Utai wants to go from dummy half and give the forwards a breather, and that's what he does.
3 now.
Takes it down towards the Dragons 40. Hughes will feed it to Sherwin. Now he was standing at close hand and set up on pretty quickly there. Still doesn't look to be completely 100% the front rower. Sherwin cuts out Anasta. Gets it off to Glenn Hughes. He set upon. Got it to Anasta though. Sherwin as they keep it alive. Corey Hughes couldn't come up with it. The pass wasn't a good one from Sherwin. And the Dragons have got it through. Riddell will get a penalty as well.
Hands away, break it up. Away, hands off, break. Let it go. Walk back.
And they just don't seem to be as sharp here this afternoon. The Bulldogs, they look a little bit flat, a little bit disorganised in attack, where the Dragons, on the other hand, are running with plenty of purpose. They know what direction they're heading in. They're all running the correct lines.
I've got the 10,
and
here
the
it is.
passing has been spot on early in this game.
Here they are, with a chance to add to the scoreline. Riles pops it out the back. It comes to Amos Roberts. Kite, a damaging runner. Hard to bring down, tall and rangy he is. You'll play it back to Riddell. Hornby, ball back on the inside for Hooper. Sliding across from the inside the Bulldogs and met him easily. Timmins, on a long way from dummy half before he gives it to Gorrell. Well worked the numbers, but El Masri, as ever, comes in to take the intercept. Grabbed it and will get a penalty.
Yeah, no, doesn't matter, still makes contact.
And you mentioned it there, Warren. El Masri all the time coming in, looking to cut it off. When numbers are coming at El Masri, he will jam in. Might have been the better play is to throw the dummy. El Masri would have come up with out. I'm sure the message will be going out, but great work by El Masri to get his body in there, stealing the football.
That's one. Here it is.
So Price will play it back to Corey Hughes. Sherwin with Rauhihi to his left-hand side. They got it back. 4-on-3 suddenly for them. Patton went through the hole. Norton is taken by Hooper and Hornby as they recovered in defence. They're just outside the Dragons 20. Anasta stepping off the right foot, had Price coming through on his inside for a run. Just couldn't get the ball to him in time. Hughes comes back to his left. Sherwin will grubber in behind them. Talau and Utai are there. Norton also in the chase, and they'll pick up Cooper and hold him in the end goal. Patton trying to get some of his own back. They force the goal line dropout. Perhaps they're finding a bit of spark.
Well, nice little kick there by Brent Sherwin, who mentioned before the game that that's one of the qualities that he possesses, and a good chase as well by Norton.
Well, the Bulldogs fans find their voice for the first time in the game. Drop out from Roberts is a good one to Patton. It's Rauhihi who will come back to them. He stopped just outside the St George Illawarra 30. Hughes to Price. Just ambles up towards them. Turns in the tackle.
Clear the ruck.
Perhaps get an arm free and keep the ball going. Sherwin again at first receiver. Comes to Reardon. Here's Norton with Talau and Utai outside him. Cooper came in and made the tackle on the centre to cut it out. Reardon to Price as he takes it straight. Just outside the 10 now with a couple of tackles left. Price has been hurt here in this tackle. He might have thought there was a high shot perhaps. Gets up looking a little bit dusty. Anasta now. Second man play to Glenn Hughes. He had Rauhihi in front of him. Simpkin says that's okay, and the Bulldogs have hit back.
And they've hit back in the best possible way, Warren, with a 4-pointer. Glenn Hughes. Great work. From a slow play the ball, you would have thought that the defensive line for the Dragons would have been set. Just a lovely step from Glenn Hughes on Aaron Gorrell.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a step by Hughes because the defensive players were there. They were all in position. Step off the right foot. Got himself into the gap. Good try for the Bulldogs.
The strike from El Masri is a good one. And with 10 minutes gone, it's the Dragons and the Bulldogs all locked up at 6. Roberts with the deep kickoff. Taken at the goal line by Anasta, and it's Rauhihi.
That's one, let him stand.
The start this afternoon varies between coming off the bench and being in the starting side, depending on the availability of the likes of Price, Mason, and of course O'Mealy, who's still out for some time with a broken jaw. Reardon.
That's 3. Jason.
Himself a regular starter in the second row these days for the Bulldogs. Here's Price. Runs at Brent Kite. A lot of sting in the hit up from Stephen Price, who, as we said, was a little shaky after a solid tackle at the other end of the field in the lead up to the try. The kick comes down to Lalota. Oh, he almost lost it. It popped out from the breadbasket and he found the handle quickly. Here's Cooper. He's driven backwards in a strong tackle here by Vangana and Hughes. A real look about the Bulldogs suddenly after perhaps a slightly lacklustre opening 4 or 5 minutes. Lalota again will play it to Smith. Comes to Riles. Hasn't really been a factor in the game so far, the Australian and of course New South Wales front rower. Hornby, a pass off the shoulder of Lightval. They didn't get that right, and here's Sherwin going down to within 30 of the Dragons line. A pretty simple mistake. A bad first touch for Lightval, and here's Utai who will test them out. He takes it midfield down to the 20. They play it back to Hughes. Rauhihi takes it up to the right-hand side, tries to put a step on Smith, who's there to bring him down with the help of Aaron Gorrell. Hughes again goes down the blind side. Here's Vangana. He's so close to adding to his personal tally of 15 tries coming into this game. Sherwin now. Fire it over the head of Norton. It bounces up for Anasta, who waited for it. A ball back on the inside for Patton. There's a huge gap, and the fullback will run through it to score for the Bulldogs. Lovely work by Anasta. He just waited for the pass to bounce up to him and then drew a couple of defenders and a ball back in the inside for Patton. There was nothing but space in front of him.
It all came about by the turnover. Like Vol on for Bailey. Bailey still feeling the effects of that heavy knock he took earlier in the game. The Bulldogs quick to capitalise from defence to offence. And that's what all the good sides are able to do, put pressure on straight away. And Braithen Astor, he's a wonderful player, getting a poor pass, deciding to not to put on the play that he had in mind, but just to run the football himself. Got the ability to get the hands away, and Luke Patton got plenty of pace snipping around.
Well, it was a good ball by Astor. I think it was Reardon was the man that was supposed to get the ball, but unfortunately he was in front. Patton come through from behind. Worked out to be a great pass for him, hit him right on the chest.
And that's been one of the most impressive things about the Bulldogs this season is their support play.
Azamel Masri makes it 170 points for the season to leapfrog Ivan Cleary at the top of the point scorers list. And the Bulldogs, the competition leaders, lead the Dragons 12 points to 6. 2 tries in the space of 5 minutes. And they have a 6-point gap over this side, who
Could be on it.
they're not
Could be on the
playing
line.
for their 2002 Premiership lives today, but they need to come up with a performance against one of the better sides in the competition. At the moment, there is no better team than this side, the Bulldogs. Rauhihi
That's one.
brings it back from the
Stand up.
kickoff.
Hold here.
Hughes will pass it to Vangana. Takes it forward for a rare hit up into the teeth of the forwards. Price edged his way up over the 30-metre line for the Bulldogs. See how they were warming into it at the start of the game.
Look at Jason.
They've hit their stride now, and here's Anasta finding his own stride. Stepping again, staying alive, fending, stepping away. Sherwin onto Norton. They had a 3-on-2 had they been able to get it through the hand. Sherwin will make it a 3-on-2, but Utah puts it down.
Oh, he had plenty of space in front of him, Matty Utah, and he had the numbers looming up in support. Willie Talau and Corey Hughes. He's already looking dangerous again, Brent Sherwin. Just starting a lot of the attacking raids. He's a wonderful support player. His passing game has improved immensely in the last 12 months.
Hang on. Face each other. That's it. Ball in.
Roberts was coming across in defence for the Dragons. It was going to be a one-on-one tackle to try and deny Utah. What a strong player he is. That was terrific work from Sherwin. Riddell gives it to Vol. 35 out on the Bulldogs line.
On the foot, correct.
Haven't had too many tackles to speak of inside the Dogs 20 so far.
And again, back. Hold Glenn.
Hornby will play it. Riddell gives it to Riles again. Well picked off by Steve Reardon, who was up off his line quickly. Now Riddell catching the markers out, going from dummy half, went a long way, still going in fact. Still going, he's only 8 metres away on the last tackle. He'll play it back to Timmins. They'd stacked the blind side, but they go to the open. The kick from Roberts. Play on here, dived on by Patton, who stays in the field of play with the help of the upright.
Strong run there by Mark Riddell.
2. Work 10, make
Been
10.
outstanding. Missed plenty of football this season through suspension, but he does mean a lot to this Dragons outfit. His service from dummy half is first class. Very rarely do they take the wrong option when he's on the field.
It's 4. Make it back.
Vangana
Hold.
takes it to the 20-metre line. Done well to restrict them in the first 5 tackles. El Masri now
Last tackle.
on tackle 5 will play it
Stay
there.
with us.
And Nasta is down the short side, gets a kick away under some pressure from Justin Smith, and Nasta resents the tackle again, and the Dragons come to his quickly. There's plenty of history between the Dragons, of course, and Braithen Astor. Mark Riddell was sent off in that first game of the season between these two sides at Stadium Australia. It's
Where the
fresh in
ball
the
bounced.
minds of all the players out there.
Yep. Hang on, clear it up, walk it away. Just break it up. Walk apart.
So incredibly, another Dragon involved in an incident here with Braithen Astor. A report from the touchdown, Jalen Fallon mentioned an elbow which was raised. It might have got up around perhaps the chest region of Braithen Astor, but I don't think he has too much to worry about Justin Smith as far as being placed on report is concerned, but he certainly cost his side perhaps plenty of metres here, and the Bulldogs have a great chance to extend this scoreline. Vangana will come to Sherwin with an Astor outside him. He's got Patton in support. A circus pass over the top, which the fullback takes. He's 5 metres away. Reardon goes down the blind side. There's Talau, who will crash over. It certainly has been costly for the Dragons. And Anasta is delighted about it. And at 16-6, the Bulldogs lead.
Discipline and ball control have been the Dragons' two biggest problems this season, and this time it was the discipline of Justin Smith giving away a penalty for a late shot. He could have pulled out, instead went on with it, and Anasta, he resents it, as does Vagana, and from there they just work it downfield. And the short side, Talau on Timmins, just lovely footwork, and Hornby couldn't stop him.
Well, he's a big man, isn't he, Talau? He was always going to be very difficult to stop from there, but the Bulldogs, I think Warren mentioned earlier, the first 4 or 5 minutes, they didn't seem to be themselves. They didn't have a lot of rhythm. At the moment, the rhythm's going very well, and this could be anything, this game, if the Dragons don't pick up their defence.
Suddenly, things have turned around for the Dragons, who led 6-0. Midway through this first half, and El Masri hoping it swings back from the right-hand side. It won't. And it stays at 16-6, but just harking back to the Smith charge down on Anasta, there is no doubt in my mind that the Bulldogs certainly, or Anasta at least, was perhaps waiting for something to happen. I'm sure the Dragons feel as though they can rattle Anasta, because it happens time and time again each time these clubs meet.
It's a little bit of a trait starting to happen there. The Dragons obviously trying to put a lot of pressure on Blake and Anasta. The Dragons, they really must improve, as Brett Kenny said, their defensive line, but it's been their discipline and drop ball which has let them down. They've got the ability to score points.
Let them go, roll out.
And you wouldn't be writing them off just yet.
3, make 10.
Glenn Hughes
There it is, Jason.
takes it up towards the halfway line. That's where they play it. Sherwin comes to Travis Norton. He's got Patton back on the inside, but he's put it down here, the fullback. He's looked good again this afternoon, just lurking, waiting to chime into the back line. So already has 1 try. He's put down a pretty simple pass on this occasion, though.
They've numbered up okay to the Dragons. It's just been their missed tackles. The first one of Aaron Gorrell, then that time the last try with Hornby and Timmins missing it. So they're numbering up quite well. It's just their inability to make contact.
Cooper away from the Sherwin tackle. Still going.
That's 2.
He's just outside the 30. We'll see what the Dragons have to offer in this set of 6. Tackles up their sleeve here. Timmins
3,
takes it forward. We'll play it back to Millard, who's out there now in 16 for the Dragons, as Riddell gets a breather. They keep it alive. Hornby weaving, coming to Patton, who had to make an important tackle. Long pass to Gorrell. He tries to put a step on, taken by Glenn Hughes. Lost his footing as he came to Hughes, and on the last now, Millard will go to Roberts. Grubber off the feet of Anasta, not played at, says Paul Simpkins. This will stay the last. Roberts will kick for the in goal. It will be too big though, only just. And the Bulldogs have hung on. They'll bring it back to their own 20. It'll be interesting to take a look at that. I'm sure perhaps the grubber from Roberts, or the grubber put in, was perhaps off the legs of Anasta, and he might have been sticking the leg out there just to try and stop the ball getting through, and he was successful.
But their defence on their goal line has been great today, the Doggies. Steve Reardon has pulled off a couple of great tackles on Jason Riles, just hit him waist height, and Riles has gone down straight away. I haven't seen guys tackling like that when you go into the ground. A lot of guys usually go high, but Reardon's leading the way on Riles this afternoon.
Norton back to Rauhihi.
That's 3. Hands out.
Now 13 metres short of the halfway line. And again, Anasta with the kick. This time Hooper was the player coming through, but he pulled out of the charge down, or the chase through on the kicker, as Roberts bounces off the tackle there of Glenn Hughes before he's stopped by Vangana and Corey Hughes. Lalota.
That's 2. Make 10.
Still 10 the difference here with 16 left before the break. Cooper going from dummy half. Another good tackle by Corey Hughes, is getting through the power of work. Riles, short ball for Hornby. Met a solid crunching tackle by Talau. Millard, a ball for Riles, who had a bit of steam up, and he takes it down to the 20, and they'll get a penalty.
Pull him out. Hang on, wait before it's back. You've got to give you the mark. It's here.
Riles wanted
He's
to tap
taking his
it
foot.
and
He
go.
took his foot.
10 back. Nathan Brown is screaming into the field, wanting them to take the 2. Too late because they've taken the tap, Brownie. They're 11 metres away when Riles plays it. Millard comes to Hornby as the Dragons elect to keep the pressure on.
Take the line.
Corey Hughes has
Away,
blood
Ronnie.
streaming from a cut to the scalp there. You can see it in the hairline with the blood streaming down his
Got him,
face.
Vandy, 3.
Hooper now. Took the second man play down to within about 3 metres. Millard, he's set upon very quickly by Reardon and Corey Hughes, who's still out there. Hooper at dummy half. Timmins comes in close to the action, tries to charge his way across, and they'll play it here on the last tackle. They continue to hang on, the Bulldogs. Gorrell played at by Rauhihi this time. He got a foot to it, but diving there to save the day for them was Corey Hughes, who will play it back to Patton.
Yep.
Well, a couple of things you need when you're attacking the defensive line.
That's 2.
You
Back
need a bit
again.
of width in your attack, and you need a bit of vision, and that time the Dragons had neither. They were playing in the middle of the park. To the right, they had 2 people covering 40 metres. And if they had to come that way, they might have been a chance of putting points over on the
mark it
board, but
square.
no one looked up. No one
Hands
took
out, we'll
themselves
play the
out of the game to see which was the correct way to move the football.
One thing you've got to say, the defence by the Bulldogs has been outstanding on their line, but really the Dragons, their kicking game, their short kicking game has been very poor. They've got to look at more options beside that little kicking game.
Here's a kicking game which has come off the legs of Roberts.
He's shadowing the ball. Shadowing the ball. Now it's touched.
It was touched by Amos Roberts and will be a feed to the Bulldogs. He was floating back with it, waiting for it to go over the sideline. It came off his left boot.
Yeah, well, I tell you, they've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure that he tried to play at it with his foot and the ball's actually
9.
bounced into it, but geez, in that situation, you don't know why you'd even bother getting near it. I don't think there was any chance of it being a 40-20.
Split down here.
Now, Corey Hughes eventually
The 9 Bulldogs and 9 Saints with the
will
blood
have
as well.
to come from the field, or at least get that cut cleaned up, and they will make a change. He'll come from the field. It will be Adam Perry who'll come off the bench to take his place, and that might need a little bit of work back in the sheds. Sherwin, though, with the feed, and Norton takes it from the base of the
Ball,
scrum.
stand up 1.
The Bulldogs score here. They can really open this game up. It's a 10-point lead they have at the moment.
2, releasing.
Early days with a
Hands off him,
16-point gap make it very tough for the Dragons. Price just carts it forward, met by Hooper and Kite.
Make it hard for him, Steve.
Perry comes to Anasta. He'll run it himself. A ball back on the inside for Vangana. Good tackle by Riles on Anasta to start with. Here's Anasta firing it. Timmins takes the intercept, and Simpkins says that wasn't offside. It's okay. In fact, they've got it back. Reardon has come up with it. Sherwin pops it out the back on the first tackle.
Put him up.
And they've coughed it up. A pass that didn't need to be thrown. The tackle count had been restarted after Timmins got a hand on it.
He got his jump
That
up.
could be costly for the Bulldogs. Can't afford to waste golden
3.
chances like that. A set of 6 just metres away from the Dragons line as Riles comes from the field.
And after putting some easy tries on the board, perhaps the Dogs are starting to feel as though they could score on every occasion. But you still got to play the football in the middle of the park. Go forward, set that platform up.
Last tackle. Bring up.
Millard got through the first line, takes it down on the last tackle.
Off him.
Another penalty.
No, that's, you know as well as I do, Steve, that's a penalty.
It's exactly the same up there. I'm kicking around.
When you're bouncing around on the ground,
Trying to get up, mate.
you take it away from yourself.
The last 2 penalties to the Dragons have come at the end of the 5th tackle. On this occasion, it's Perry who's penalised for holding down Millard after he made the good run downfield. Luke Felch is out there. He has the ball 20 out from the Bulldogs line. Hookie gives it to Gorrell. Comes to Likevol.
2.
Both starting front rowers for the Dragons back on the bench. Bailey and Riles, the New South Wales combination. Here's Hornby turning it back on the inside for Timmins.
Take it back.
3 tackles left in this set of 6. Hornby again taking it to them. Just down to within a couple of metres. They've been here a few times, the Dragons, with nothing to show for it. Roberts goes past Felch. Comes back to Gorrell. Roberts wrapping around the back. Smith got it on, and again it's taken by El Masri, who comes up with another intercept.
You've got to be careful passing the ball with your back turned on that side of the field to El Masri. He will be sniffing around looking for that intercept. Lucky for the Dragons, they had people there in cover.
Things like that will always happen when you're playing against the Bulldogs because they had that up and in defence. El Masri comes in, 2 or 3 players in from the sideline, and he's looking for the intercept at every opportunity.
Patton takes it up towards the Bulldogs 40. Plays it back to Talau, who takes the chance to go himself from dummy half with only one marker there for the Dragons.
What's happening?
Dennis Scott is out there for the Bulldogs now after coming off the bench, and Anasta will kick down the sideline again. This time Roberts plays it with the hands and comes up with it.
That's one. Clear. Hands out.
An attacking kick from the Bulldogs. Trying to force the mistake from Roberts, or hoping
2 now.
the likes of Talau or Utai can get through. Perhaps make a play at it. Lalota, though,
3.
has it for the Dragons,
Make
just
10.
outside their 30.
No early, Steve.
Half an hour gone here at Wollongong. Still the Bulldogs 16 who lead the Dragons 6. Smith got it back to Gorrell.
Got the 4 cools.
Bounces up, tries to go again before he's set upon by Dennis Scott. Playing his first game since the game against the Rabbitohs at the showground for the Bulldogs.
Hands out of there. Hold.
A broken thumb this year, also a torn adductor muscle, which has kept him out of first grade, or consideration for first grade. Patton. Bring it back to Lalota.
That's one. Put him up. Back it up.
El Masri from dummy half. Bulldogs really in control at the moment.
Release him.
The Dragons have had a fair few chances at their line and come away with nothing apart from the Patton mistake, which led to the Bailey try.
3. Make it back.
Since then,
One back,
the
16.
Bulldogs might have snapped them out of perhaps a minor lethargy at the start of this game, and they've looked very good from that point on, controlling the football, getting to their kick. Steve Reid, despite perhaps a broken nose, is all smiles back there on the bench. Well, speaking of getting to their kick, they haven't done it on this occasion. There is the commentator's curse for you in full bloom. Cookie.
Their last couple of 6, they've lost their way a little bit, the Bulldogs, trying to look to score points. They haven't really had the field position to do it. If you're going to keep turning the ball over, no matter who you're playing, the opposition will put points on the board at some stage, and I'm sure the Dragons would be rapt if they could get a 4-pointer on the board just before half-time.
Take it back, Jamie.
Likeville playing at first receiver almost as a halfback on that occasion. Gives it off to Smith, who was tackled immediately by Sherwin and Vangana. Gorrell to Hornby. That kite outside him. The combinations just aren't there at the moment for the Dragons. Last tackle once again here. Millard will feed it to Gorrell. Grubber looking for the in goal, but it won't get there. Patton will bring it back before he's tackled by Cooper. This large crowd, predominantly, of course, Dragons fans, haven't had much to cheer about. They get a minor reason there with the tackle on Utai. Talau brings it up to Timmins. It was such a surprise to see him step straight past him to score the try. And now Feeney is out there for the Bulldogs. Anasta again from inside his own 40 this time, looking for a 40-20. The kick is a good one, but it just bends away from the touchline at the last moment. And Roberts gets back to clean it up and bring it back to Norton.
That's one. Up and play.
He stops him inside the Dragons 20. And again, they'll have to do it the hard way. There's Lalota trying to help out the forwards. He almost got away there from the tackle of Glenn Hughes. Hooper.
That's 3. Hands off.
Millard from dummy half. It came through the hands of Felch, and then Likeville, a lovely ball for Kites.
Ball, let him go, legs go.
He loves to keep the ball alive, does Likeville. He came up with a good play on that occasion. Now Timmins stepping back on the inside, but Anasta and Sherwin are there to stop him. Last tackle again. He pinches a couple of metres in the play the ball. Hornby gets it to Gorrell. It comes to Smith. Hands from Hooper. The pass was forward. Again, they forced the issue down that left-hand side. Last time it was Justin Smith who passed a ball blindly, which was taken by El Masri. On this occasion, Hooper coming up with a no-look pass, which was a couple of metres forward.
I really think the Dragons have really got to start to settle this play down. They look as though they're trying to score in every set of 6. You've got to treat this match like a title fight. It's 15 rounds. There's no way you're going to get a knockout in the early rounds against the Doggies. You're going to have to be in there for the whole game.
Lock, come in. Wait for it.
Riles is back out there for the Dragons.
Go down.
After
Go
a
in.
fairly brief
Ball in.
spell. Andrew Farah injecting him back into the action. Likeville is the player who comes from the field. Vangana, ball out the back for Feeney.
That's one. Stand.
Trying things
Hands
down
up.
inside their own territory on the first tackle. Such confidence they have. Here's Price shrugging off the Timmins tackle.
That's 2. Then go. Hold here.
Again,
Hold
playing
here.
of plenty of minutes as the captain. Perry takes it across the halfway line.
Play it.
Sherwin into dummy half. Comes to Glenn Hughes. He gives it to Norton. Patton standing flat-footed when he got it, but suddenly he finds some speed pretty quickly.
Up 4.
Dropped down by Hookie. Gorrell could have been penalised and will
He's
be.
already held. He's got his foot. He's got his hand on him. He's held. Mark them.
Perhaps a little unlucky for Aaron Gorrell on that occasion. He thought that Patton might have been bouncing up to go again, and he came in to make the second effort and was penalised for it. Here's Scott, dumped by Smith and also Millard. Perry, he'll give it to Sherwin. Comes to Feeney, he runs across the face of them.
Up 2.
They look likely to score every time they go inside the Dragons 20. Sherwin keeps it coming to the left, and Nasta onto Talau. They've got there in numbers, the Dragons, to stop him. Anasta goes back to the open side. Sherwin, he'll give it to Norton. A ball on for Hughes. To wrap it around to Norton. He had plenty of numbers on the right-hand side, and had he been able to get the pass away. Sherwin, Will Grubber, a good one as well. It will sit up in the in-goal.
Offside.
And Smith has to play it, knock it across the dead ball line. The Bulldogs will get 6 more tackles.
The Dogs, they're playing some good football now. They're into their groove, and they work for one another. They do a lot of things off the ball. On that occasion, Braith and Nasta went from the left-hand side of the field, screaming around to the right, looking as though he's getting the football. The ball came back to the left to Sherwin. Sherwin was able to put the little grubber
Here
in,
we go.
and Smith shielded the ball over the line. They get a repeat set of 6. So little things they're doing away from the football, it's really contributing to their good start.
That's 1. Clear him up. Hands off.
So
man.
it's Price. He'll play it just outside the 20. Sherwin comes to Dennis Scott. Ball out the back. Play on that was knocked backwards. Sherwin going across the face of them, was almost through.
Let's go.
Norton tries to get to the play of the ball. Took him a while to get there. Under some pressure from the Dragons markers. It's played back to Perry. They go to the right-hand side. And Nasta, nice pass to Hughes. Comes back towards the post, and he's stopped there by Hooper. 2 tackles left. Just metres away. Sherwin again. Grubbering. There is Anasta. There is the combination. Anasta will kick a field goal from behind the posts as well. And it's the Dogs who lead the Dragons by a handsome margin.
It's been one of their best plays this year, is the ability to get repeat sets of 6 and the ability to score tries from little grubbers. And Brent Sherwin again having a magnificent game, running the football. His passing game's been superb, as has his kicking. Picks it up from dummy half. They know it's on. They get in between the defenders, and Nasta's on the spot.
They do the set plays very well. They work their way back to the left-hand side so that Sherwin can go back right. They already knew 2 plays early the kick was going to be on.
And Braith Anasta picks up try number 9. The kick is a good one. El Masri has made it 22 points to 6. He converts the Anasta try. Just over, or just under in fact, 60 seconds left before the break. This is a very big scoreline the Dragons are facing now. It's Price. We'll bring it back up towards the Bulldogs 20.
Hands off.
Barely a couple of
Clear it up.
tackles left in this first 40 minutes. Here's Utai ducking away from
That's 2.
dummy
Bring it
half.
back 10. Hold,
And a
hold.
chance to have perhaps a try of his own before putting it down on the sideline midway through the first half.
That's 3.
Scott will get driven
Comrade.
backwards.
Hold him, 16.
He will play it here as the siren will sound. Feeney will take the tackle there, and that will do us for the first 40 minutes here at Wollongong this afternoon. And this Dragons crowd hasn't had much to cheer about. The Bulldogs have scored 4 tries, and they lead the home team 22 points to 6.
You asked, we listened.
The Dragons will run towards the new northern stand in this second half. Simpkins blows time back on. Kick-off will come down to Hornby. That's Riles who
Stand up, mark it square.
spears himself through the Bulldogs' defensive line. Here's Kite.
That's 2. Clear the ruck.
See if they come back out revved up. They'll need to be. Trailing
3.
by 16
Make
at
it back.
the break.
We
Nigel.
think the first 20 minutes of this game is vitally important for the Dragons to get away to a
That's 4.
good start.
Stand.
They
There it is.
must be the
Hold it.
next to score. There's no way in the world they could run them down if they let the Dogs score another 4-pointer.
Here's Patton going back to field the kick. He looks up. Once again, a wall of
What? Clear
white
it.
jumpers with red V's on them. Plenty of enthusiasm in the opening 10 minutes from the Dragons. They're opened
2.
up a
Release.
couple of
Hands
times close to their own line. Patton scored, so Glenn Hughes
On
doing
3.
some good work from the likes
Let him clear.
Sherman and Asta to
Hold,
add
Jason.
other tries as well. Here is Hughes. Passes to brother Glenn, who can't start towards the
Hands
halfway
out.
line.
Wait.
Perry still out there, dummy half. Comes to Anasta now. Scott.
Last tackle.
Luke Phelps grabbing at the
Jason,
headgear
no
and
early.
dragging
No
him to
early.
ground. Perry again will kick this time from dummy half. Phelps tried to put the hit on him from Marker. Will bounce up for Shane Laloto. Comes across to Roberts. The line was a staggered one from the Bulldogs as they got up there. And Roberts almost created something for himself, bringing it back out.
And it's no surprise that Stephen Price, the captain of the Bulldogs, was down there leading the way in that kick chase. He got around a couple, Amos
3.
Roberts, but
Clear.
not the skipper.
Let him go. Come on, Jamie, make it back.
Millard giving it to Hornby.
That's 4. Jamie.
He has rotated in that role of first receiver with Aaron Gorrell through the first half. Timmins playing it to Lau, who's getting the better of that battle this afternoon, it must be said. Timmins, of course, played in the Test match on Friday night for Australia against Great Britain. Now here are the Dragons getting themselves out of a little bit of bother perhaps. Smith, though, will have to make the pass, and he forces it over the sideline.
At 50.
It happened last
No,
week
no,
against the
10.
Broncos up
10.
there at ANZ Stadium.
Come
They
back.
just fall asleep at the wheel late in the tackle count at times and can really struggle to get their
Stand.
kick away. And again here,
Back. Hold.
Smith was forced to make a pass and it went over the touchline. Here's Norton giving it to Scott.
2. Release
Dragged to
him.
ground by Timmins. To Lau. Go from dummy half.
That's
Thompson to
3.
both
Justin.
Hooper and also Luke Phelps.
Stand up. Hold.
Perry to Sherwin with Nasta. As Glenn Hughes behind Dennis Scott.
That's
And
4.
they run that play, the similar sort of
Make the
play
line.
that
Line
saw
10.
Glenn Hughes cross for them. The first try they scored in the first half. Sherwin to Patton. Norton cuts out Feeney, goes to Lau, who already has one to his name. What a ball he pops! Jamie Feeney can scarcely believe his luck. They are dancing and waving and singing on the terraces here, those Bulldogs fans. What a ball it was, and it's 26-6.
And Willie Talau, he doesn't usually do this type of thing. Pass the footy. He's a runner. He's hard and straight. Usually goes to ground. This time, falling to ground, just throwing it out the back. We spoke about their support play in the first half. And it was there evident again early in the second.
Well, it certainly was. There was nothing on. Norton threw a cutout pass to Talau, just used his strength. As you said, Laurie, he's not the type of guy to usually flick balls out the back, but Feeney, as all the Bulldogs players do, back up very well. They've got a lot of confidence in each other's ability to unload a football. And, of course, Talau was able to do that, and Feeney went over for a very good try.
Try number 5 for the season for Jamie Feeney. You were saying moments ago, Laurie, that the Dragons can't win if the Bulldogs are the first to score in this second half. Well, I think you're more than right. I think the way things are shaping up, you can see a real scoreline racked up against them here this afternoon if they don't muscle up in defence. It's too easy for the Bulldogs every time they go inside the 20 almost. El Masri, not a difficult attempt from the right-hand side of the field as he looks at it as far as the curve of the ball he puts on it. 80% in 2002, as we said earlier on. Here's the new rock. And just like the rock used to, he swings it back between the posts. It's an imposing scoreline if you're a Dragon supporter. 28 points to 6. The leaders of the competition freewheeling out in front.
Well, we mentioned how the Dragons may be on the end of a big scoreline here, but it just may well spark them in action. Nothing to lose. A lot of people expecting them to lose now. They can really get adventurous with their football, start tossing it around, and if the Bulldogs relax at all, then you would think that the Dragons may be able to put some points on the board.
One thing the Dragons do have to be careful of, what they've got to do is cut down their mistake rate. We saw the mistake made there on the last tackle around the halfway. They put the kick in. The Bulldogs would have been playing from inside their 10 or 15 metre area. Instead, they were playing 20 metres out from the Dragons' line. So they've really got to cut down their mistakes to give themselves any possible chance of scoring some points.
I think that's been one of their probably troubles today is they've come out here with a game plan of trying to hang on to the football and not looking to create too much, and they feel a little bit restricted in what they're doing.
Tackle. Let them go.
I think if they can take that pressure away from them now, look at the scoreboard and say we're 22 points behind, we need to play some catch-up football. That pressure's taken away from them and maybe things might start to stick.
Lalota forced back into his own goal off the Anasta kick. Good result for the Bulldogs once again as they take the Dragons deep back inside their own territory. Lee Hookie hasn't seen much of it this afternoon.
Here's 10, Jamie.
Playing on the left-hand side of the field these days. Most of the first part of the season on the right-hand side. Well, he's swapped with Timmins in recent weeks. Seemed to have helped his play. Trouble with his hands for
Roll out of there.
first part of the season. A lot of football, but playing in better form on the left-hand side with Timmins moving across to the right-hand side. Here's a ball back for Roberts. Ryle's got it away. The fullback still going. Gets it on to Hornby. He had tight looming up but hung onto it. Hookie, or rather Roberts it is, who goes from dummy half again. He'll kick in behind them. Cooper is coming. He can fly. So can Patton. He got there to tow it over the sideline, but the Dragons have earned themselves 6 more tackles.
And that's better play by the Dragons. That time Jason Ryles not conceding in the tackle, offloading the football. From there they get a bit of second phase play. Quick play the ball. And Amos Roberts starting to look dangerous, putting in the kick for Cooper. Patton comes across, kicks it out. And the Dragons get their chance in a good attacking zone.
Now wait for your prop. Stand up. Face
See
together.
they can muster here.
With them,
Number of chances inside the Bulldogs 20 in the first half.
Two heads out the other side.
He came away with nothing to show for it. Sort of lucky try, if you like, to Bailey. And only points in the game as Timmins.
One, to the line, hands out.
Has it 10 metres out from the line. Roberts comes to Miller. He bounces away from Price before he came again to stop him.
Kicking around.
Roberts again getting into dummy half. Gorrell gives it on to Hornby. Ryles is chopped down. A scything tackle. Lovely piece of play by Dennis Scott. Hornby to Timmins. Showed it to Kite. Gives it off to Cooper. Utah is there to stop him with the help of Adam Perry.
Line.
2 tackles left. Kite comes to Hornby. Gorrell standing wide. Gives it to Ryles. Really, there hasn't been much doing for them in this sort of 6.
Stand up, go early.
And I'll play it there. On the last tackle. Hornby puts it to the air. Their last resort. Cooper knocked it backwards. It came back to Timmins, but he set upon straight away. Well, the Bulldogs score tries in the Dragons 20. They just keep stopping them when the Dragons get their chance inside the Bulldogs' red zone.
And they love it. The Bulldogs with this wide defence, they up and in when you try and play around them. And the Dragons are throwing some long passes, but you've got to go through this Bulldogs outfit. After quick play the balls, then you might get the opportunity to run around them, but you've got to do the tough stuff first. Look to create a bit of second phase play. Out the back, have your support players there. Get this Bulldogs outfit not set in their defensive line.
Here's the boot of Anasta. A big boot it is. From inside his own 40, but he picked out Roberts on the fall this time. The Dragons fullback brings it back almost to their 40-metre line. Here's Cooper going from dummy half.
That's 2. Work 10 here. Here, Nigel.
Balota will take his turn to go from that same position. They run from dummy half more than any team in the competition. Here's Millard going again.
That's 4.
3 of them in a row now to get them down to within 30 of the Bulldogs line. Hornby will go to Roberts. Kite cutting back on the inside. Good defence again. Norton there with the help of Feeney. And now Timmins. He'll kick it on the last tackle, and Nasty was positioned well. Read the play beautifully. To see the angle that Timmins was going to kick on. Stationed himself there and came back with it. Now El Masri. To get away from the kite tackle. He's at his own 20 when he plays it. Patton comes to Talau. Pass he popped up for Feeney to score. Patton taking his chances now from dummy half. Takes it up towards the halfway line. El Masri gives it to Norton, who was almost away from the Timmins tackle. He plays it back to El Masri on the last. Sherwood gets the kick away under some pressure from Hooper. Roberts floating back with it. Looks up. The chase isn't a good one from the Bulldogs. There are only 3 or 4 of them there. Luckily, they've been able to herd them in. Glenn Hughes goes back to the bench. Grimaldi comes on for him. Swooking has it for the Dragons. Smith, the player on report for the charge down, which earning that report on Braith and Astor in the first half, and also gave up pretty much directly a try to the Bulldogs at the same time. Riles now, a couple of fends, got away from the Norton tackle before he dragged him down from behind with the help there of Feeney. Millard comes to Hornby on the last tackle again, having trouble getting to their kick here. And it's Gorrell who gets it in. El Masri with Patton. As the Bulldogs stretch it across the field. Patton trying to hold them off. Was thinking about popping it up to El Masri. He travelled across the field with him. Now Utai. Just takes them on. Runs over the top of Luke Felch, the front rower. Feeney. Looking for a gain from dummy half. 35 away from this Dragons line. They lead by 22. And they are doing it in a canter, if you like, at the moment. 27 minutes left still. Time for the Dragons. They'll need to show something eventually. Here's Anasta. A ball which almost saw Grimaldi through. He'll play it. That was the 5th tackle. This is Sherwin. Bombing to his left-hand side. Utai is out there, but Cooper, he is one of the leapers in the competition, got up there to snuff it out. And they'll bring it back to their own 20.
Yeah, great work there by Matty Cooper, but Anasta and Sherwin already starting to look dangerous again in the second half. Just controlling things out there for the Bulldogs. But the Dragons, when they're taking the ball up, they really must look to try and create some outdoor passes. Trying to get this Bulldogs outfit not set.
2, markers lock in.
At the moment, it's just too easy for them when they're carting it up. Must look to Riles and Felch to try and pop the ball out the back.
There's a pass which comes to Cooper.
3, hand away. Ball back.
Takes it just into Bulldogs territory. Riles, good play the ball and use momentum, but he was chopped down by Sherwin. Well, halfback cutting down at the knees. Now from Gorrell. Roberts, who's taken strongly in the tackle by Nigel Vungana. Gorrell it is. He'll kick on the last tackle. Another bomb. Utai waits for it. Takes it. Stands there in the tackle, almost looking to offload again.
They've really defended well on the edge of the Dogs. They know when to jam in and stop the ball runner.
Work 10, Saints.
Just like to think that the Dragons might learn from that, especially on Vergana and El Masri's side. Maybe looking to put the one in behind. There's a lot of space between their defenders and Luke Patton at the back.
One thing they've got to do too is really make up their mind beforehand as to what they're going to do. We saw the bomb put up there, wasn't that good. There wasn't a lot of pressure put on the Dogs, but in the 2 previous sets of 6, they just didn't know. They tried to run the ball at one stage, then didn't put a kick in. Other times they should have put the kick in early and decided to run it. They're really not setting themselves and letting themselves work out what they've got to do before they get the ball.
The Bulldogs have turned it over here. It'll be Luke Felch who takes it across the halfway line for the Dragons. Riddell is back out there working from dummy half. We'll see if he can inspire something. Roberts stopped midfield by Price and Grimaldi. The ball came loose.
In there. They're in there.
Price concedes the penalty. Riddell takes the quick tap. He knows they need to get something going here. Again, the ball is raked away with 2 in the tackle.
2 in there.
Adam Perry this time. The player penalised.
Work 10.
Take the chance to find some metres and go to the line. And they'll work it from the left-hand side of the field. Kick from Gorrell is a good one. They're 9 metres away
from the
Bulldogs' line. They've been here plenty of times in the game so far. Still yet to score a try with a conventional play.
On. Get on.
Hornby.
Stand up.
Play it back to Riddell. Riles playing at first receiver suddenly. Gives it on to Michael Howe. Taken by Sherwin, whose defence has been first class this afternoon. Timmins gives it to Hornby. Comes to Gorrell. He shrugs away from the tackle there of Perry. Comes through Timmins, back to Justin Smith. Vungana gets up in his face. Now it's Hookie. He has got the loader outside him. El Masri forces him back on the inside, and Vungana with the help of Patton stop him. Hookie going from dummy half. He'll get across from dummy half and score for them. A pretty soft try in the end after they tried and couldn't find a way through. Hookie with the simplest play in the game scores their second try.
That's better played by the Dragons. They're keeping the ball alive. And the Bulldogs, they can't get set. They're looking to just create the outdoor passes. And that time, a quick play the ball. Hookie going from dummy half to the short side, scoring a try. The Dragons need to do more of that out the back door pass.
They certainly did. It was a good run by Justin Smith as well. He created a bit of a decoy. He put El Masri in 2 minds as to whether to stay out or come in, and that gave the opportunity for Lee Hookie to go over for a very good try.
Came, of course, off the back of the back-to-back penalties for infringements in the play of the ball. There's Hookie, of course, scored last week against the Broncos up there at ANZ Stadium. Their leading try scorer with 12 now in 2002. He's given Riddell a tough assignment from wide out here. About 4 metres in from this western touchline. Still 22.5 minutes remaining in the game. There is time for them. This conversion here will prove to be important if we can get them back inside that 3 converted try range. The strike is a good one. It's hanging out there to the right-hand side, though. It was arrow straight. It stays at the Bulldogs 28, the Dragons 10. Probably felt as though that one was entitled to swing back. A little bit of natural hook on it. They've got something. He's trying to keep it going.
To the word to 15 then. What's his name?
He's an energetic type out there. Can create from dummy half for himself and for his teammates.
Quick behind.
Kick in attack. We'll see how the Bulldogs respond. Anasta with the deep restart. Right out to the sideline as well. Taken out there by Roberts. It's Kite who will bring it back towards the 20. Riles now. It's that right arm free again. Got it back to Michael Howe.
That's 2.
Forcing the Bulldogs to use up some energy here in defence. Riddell gives it on to Felch.
That's 3. Stand up, Nigel.
About 15 short of the halfway line when he plays it. Here goes Riddell for one of his trademark scampers. He's got through them as well. A ball out the back for Hookie. He comes to Patton. They had Lelote covered. He had to take him on. Patton was up to the mark. Here's Howe now. Comes to Hornby. They go to Timmins. He's got Cooper outside him. The Bulldogs slide across. Utah forces him back on the inside. They're just 15 away. What a break from Riddell to get them down here. Hornby running with players outside him. The kick bounced off the foot of Rauhihi, off his hand and back to the ground.
It didn't play with the foot, and then hit his hand and went forward.
And Paul Simpkins calls the knock on, and the Dragons will get 6 more tackles at close range. They're pretty lucky, in fact, that it was a knock on, but a great run by Riddell.
Yeah, he's looked great since he's come back onto the field, Riddell.
It's not a charge down after that.
The Dragons, they must be awake on every play. Just don't assume that the tackle is completed. They've got guys in their side that can throw the ball out the back. Riddell keeps his legs pumping when he's running the football.
Timmins tackled in front of the post. Roberts from dummy half. Fell almost into the lap there of Grimaldi. Timmins showing it one way, coming back the other. Gives it to Luke Felch. Set upon by a trio of Bulldogs. They've used up 3 tackles. Riddell will go from dummy half.
You're never there. You're either up and square or you're out of the play.
They were
penalty here.
Square the markers. Riddell, he'll take the quick tap. He'll try them on himself. He loves to try his luck. They've worked it play after play in the same area of the field. Now they go to the right-hand side. Hornby to Howe. It comes to Timmins. He gets it on to Cooper. Sherwin got across there with the help of Salau to stop him. A couple of tackles gone. Still they're 5 metres away. Hornby. Ball back on the inside for Kites. Desperate tackle made by Talau. They've got them struggling. Howe gets to dummy half. It comes to Hornby. Gorrell back to Riles. Pushes away from the Rauhihi tackle. Kicks away from Grimaldi as well before Feeney wraps him up. Howe dummy half. He takes it forward for a gain of only a couple. A waste to tackle almost. Sloppy play the ball. They get another penalty.
Put your foot in there.
There's been a string of them now. Riddell again takes the quick tap. The Bulldogs surely can't hang on. Here's Gorrell, taken by Patton. The tackle might have been around the neck. It's play on, says Simpkins. Howe going from dummy half again. He's tried his luck a couple of times for no success. Riddell goes to Hornby. They cut one out to Timmins, to Cooper. They eventually had to find a way there, and the winger gets over the line for the Dragons. Price is very unhappy with the penalties which led to the string of possession the Dragons had, but suddenly they've made a game of it again, and it's 28-14.
There was lovely play there by Ben Hornby. Nice pass on to Sean Timmins, getting a little bit more depth. And then the pass on to Cooper. They're having a lot more success now, looking for the inside pass. The Dogs get a bit wide when they're defending, so there is some space back on the inside.
Well, that time there, Matthew Utah found himself in no man's land, and that created the overlap. It was just a matter of catch and pass.
On your first play, when you spread the Bulldogs, if you look to spread again, they will knock you down at about midfield. But if you look to get a long pass from dummy half and then attack them in the middle of the park, they do get a bit of width in their spacing. There's opportunities for the short balls, cross plays. They like to cover the field and then come up hard. There's a lot of space around the middle of the park if the Dragons can see that.
Riddell, 3 metres in on the eastern touchline this time. Shaved the right-hand post last time from the other side of the field. More difficult attempt this one. A good strike though. This one swings back. He's out of the extra 2. And they are on their feet suddenly here in Wollongong. We've got a 12-point game with 64 minutes gone. It's the Bulldogs who lead them. Here at the moment with the Dragons making a spirited comeback. Wade Bond is back out there. He brings it back from the kickoff outside the 20. Lelote goes from dummy half.
That's 2. Make it back, no jumps.
Riddell to Riles. He's got some good offloads away in the last 5 minutes or so. He flops to the ground, perhaps looking for a penalty. They've had some in the second half already, like Vol. It's a danger to offload every time he has the ball. Out.
Last tackle.
Just across the halfway line, he'll play it there. 5 tackles gone. Comes to Hornby, who once again runs himself in a little bit of trouble. Luckily, he got it over the top of the Bulldogs' defence to Riddell, who kept downfield for Patton to field it. They certainly can try their luck in the last tackle, the Dragons.
Hold here, wait.
El Masri now. He pops it to Vangana, who only just hung on to it. 15 minutes left. Still 2 converted tries, the difference for the Bulldogs. The tide has turned just slightly here at Wollongong. Vangana.
That's 4, stand up. Come on, work back. No penalties.
Corey Hughes back out there now, playing in headgear after suffering that head cut in the first half. Sherwin will kick at the halfway line. Cooper's back there waiting for it. Able to take it on the foot. Gave it to Roberts. He was under a little bit of pressure. The Bulldogs chased this one a fairly straight line across the field. Cooper again from dummy half.
That's 2, clear again.
Finished off a lovely movement to get their second try of the second half. Here's Riles.
3, let him go.
With a good tackle taken down low by Hughes with Grimaldi over the top. Timmins to Kite. He's lost the ball here in the tackle.
It's Paul
The Dragons won't like the call from Paul Simpkins, but it's spilled from his hands. He's given the Bulldogs one of their best chances here in this second half. They haven't had too many of them.
No, they haven't. Things were starting to turn there by the Dragons. They really must muscle up here in this set of 6, try and force an error.
In the centre.
Or at least make the Dogs work hard when they've got the football.
Here's Anasta on the run around with Patton. He got away from Roberts, juggled it, still going. He's just 30 metres away. Try here would be the knockout blow for the Bulldogs. Feeney just counts it forward.
Clear the ruck.
A little bit of feeling out there now with the game on the line here in the final few moments. Feeney straddling Howe. Simpkins loathed the award a penalty in that situation. Let's play continue on. And Vangana has it inside the Dragons 10. 3 tackles to try and breach the line. Sherwin gives it to Rauhihi. Some big contact. They've coughed it up though. The front row slung it out the back. It came back for Hornby, who has it for the Dragons. They've hung on. Looking for a penalty themselves then from a slow play of the ball. Now Michael House set upon by Reardon, whose defensive work has been top class today. Again, they do a good job of slowing the play of the ball down on this occasion. There's Riddell from dummy half. A short ball for Hookie, who comes to Patton. He ran around him, Sherwin for the ankle tap. He missed. Patton came again, a great chase from the Bulldogs fullback. But they're just 10 metres away. Roberts has nobody in front of him. Oh, do we have a game here in Wollongong now? They've scored to make it 28-20.
Steve, don't try it.
You can write down 28-22 when Riddell converts. It all came from the break deep inside Dragons territory when Hookie went straight through.
They know it. They're on notice.
And again, Jason Riles offloading the football to Lee Hookie. Hookie does a sensational job going around Luke Patton, but Patton comes again. Too easy here, quick play the ball. Amos Roberts picks it up from dummy half. The Dogs not getting tight. They were looking for the ball movement. And Roberts, peace of mind, straight under the post.
We've got to put that down to the Dragons' defence on their own line. They defended stoutly. They came up with a loose ball. But that was a great angle run by Lee Hookie. Straight into a gap. But a great chase by Luke Patton as well.
Now Riddell. Right in front. It's some sort of finish we've got coming up here in Wollongong. The restart from Anasta, a rolling one, which comes down to Gorrell, and gives it off to Lightfold.
That's wide, let him up.
They can score tries from long range, the Dragons. They came up with a beauty.
Let him go. Hands off him.
Riddell. Ball to Lightfold. Gives it back to Riddell. Stands and watches them. Reardon came across the top and has forced the ball loose here and has come up with it. Riddell won't be too happy about it. That was great work by Reardon, who was fended away by Riddell at the first occasion. He came across and forced the mistake. Now it's Grimaldi. He's 25 away from the Dragons line. Rauhihi standing. He came up with a mistake which led to the Roberts try. Here's Corey Hughes onto his left-hand side. Grimaldi trying to spin in the tackle. Just metres away. Hughes, a ball back in the inside for Rauhihi, who got there to the line. Did he get it down though? It's on the foot. Simpkins wants to take a look at it.
See if it hits the line. It's on top of the leg. See if it contacts the line. Thanks, Cools.
Roberts got his foot underneath the ball and might have saved the try.
It'd be a great bit of work if he has. Rauhihi looked for all money. He was going to score. He's burrowing. Oh, I think he might have been held up. I think it's short. You can't really tell.
I'll tell you what, I think the ball ended up on the ground. It's a matter of whether the play had finished by that stage or not.
I definitely think the ball's been grounded on the foot, and then he's let go and tried to get his body to roll the ball onto the ground. So I'd say it'd be held up over the line.
Was there contact initially and then the ball bounced up perhaps when Roberts got his leg underneath it? There's no doubt the ball ends up on the ground, but after what time?
That angle there, it certainly looks as though the ball was short. But on the other angles, looks like he may have at least had the ball landing on the leg.
I think it depends on when he thinks the tackle has been complete.
Here it is in normal speed. Didn't take a while for Rauhihi perhaps to try and get the ball to the ground. Haven't taken a look at it again there in normal speed. Not prepared to come up with a held up call. Will be still the Bulldogs will have the ball on the attack, but could be the most important call so far in the game. Video referee once again, Phil Cooley. Under plenty of pressure here to come up with the right call. And they don't get much tougher than this one.
They certainly don't. And it really is hard to tell.
Depends on the momentum of him and movement.
He might even give it back to the referee. The referee was right behind it. He had a good view. I'm not quite sure whether you can give a try on that angle or that information that we've been receiving.
Okay, no worries.
Well, Phil Curley has a decision. It's either a try or a scrum feed for the Bulldogs. Here it is. The button in hand, and it's a ref's call, and Paul Simpkins says, held up! Held up, the Dragons survive for the moment. Just over 9 minutes left. While there's life, there's hope. But the Bulldogs, of course, will get it from the scrum feed. With 6 more tackles to come. Lightfold being helped from the field behind the dead ball line. Here's Sherwin, who gives it to Anasta. Has he got something to clinch this one for the Bulldogs? Vangana takes it forward.
Do you think, Warren, they might be looking for the one-pointer?
Still 9 minutes left. It wouldn't be a bad play at this stage. We'll see if they set it up that way. Sherwin comes back on the inside for Feeney. In a perfect position for it, and Nasta is trailing the play. Here he is with the field goal attempts. It's wide to the right-hand side. Under pressure from Hooper, who raced up. He knew it was coming, and he got up there. It was struck fairly well by Anasta, but just slewing wide of the right-hand post.
Great vision there by the captain, Jason Hooper, realising that Anasta had placed himself straight behind to play the ball on the second tackle.
The Dragons down by 6. 8 minutes on the clock. 28-22. The Bulldogs, of course, looking to extend this winning streak to 14 games straight. Hooper has been hurt here in the tackle.
Sorry, Warren, it'd be interesting to see the mindset of the Dragons players. They were out on their feet when it was 28-10.
Last tackle. Let him up.
And they've used the football, and all of a sudden, 6 points behind. Are they looking to go for the win or just getting the 1 point?
Riddell a little bit unlucky there with the kick. Price waiting to come back on. The time will be called off here. Paul Simpkins concerned with the condition of Jason Hooper, who was hurt in a tackle back near the halfway line. The bounce been a kinder one for Mark Riddell on the kick downfield. You can see he got the forearm there of Paul Rauhihi. Maudi was down low, stopped him, and then it was just that forearm of Rauhihi which has got him around the head or neck region. And he is still down and in some sort of discomfort back at the halfway line.
Right.
So plenty of work today. 29 tackles. Got some blood flowing from the nose. This will give you a bit of a look at it here. Got him right on the beak, did Rauhihi. That may well come under the gaze of the video referee. And in fact, Phil Cooley now take a look at this and place Paul Rauhihi on shore on report
no penalty
by the referee Paul Simpkins.
There's no penalty.
Simpkins has told them that there might be a penalty.
But listen to me. Listen to what it is. It's been noticed he's come in, hit him high, right across the face. Okay, yeah, but it's going to go on report anyway. All right? No, because it's gone past that play, we can't penalise.
And you heard Paul Simpkins explaining to Sean Timmins the reason there won't be a penalty, because the play had gone on a couple of tackles past that point. Rauhihi doesn't like the decision. And there's still 7.5 minutes left here. It will be the Bulldogs after the Riddell kick downfield, who will tap it from their own 20 now. Hooper, after doing so well to deny the field goal from, almost called Braith Anasta, Trent Barrett. A couple of good 5/8s there. Taken from the field here. He'll probably spend the last few moments of the game watching on. Doing so well for his side in the absence of Trent Barrett today. It's Vangana. Takes it forward for the Bulldogs. Just inside their own 40. Hughes shows it one way, comes back the other.
Hands off.
Picks up a short gain. Now Vangana again, going from dummy half. Simple. No mistake played from the Bulldogs.
Wait.
Price is back out there. Comes to Brent Kite.
Last tackle.
He's down almost to the Dragons 30. Sherwin is at first receiver. He tries a field goal from outside the 30. Off the upright! It comes back to Anasta, who made a play and it couldn't come up with a ball. It comes to Justin Smith, who comes downfield, was ankle tapped. He had Hawkey with him. Patton was there in cover, and they'll get a penalty now.
No, he's gone. It was well tackled. Well tackled.
What an attempt from Brent Sherwin. It hit the upright. It looked as though it was struggling for distance. Well, it had the length, but it hit the left-hand post. There it is. It may well have even been touched, but that doesn't matter anymore. Off the post, and it came back into the field of play, and Nasta almost came up with it. The Dragons have it, though, almost back at the halfway line. Riddell gives it out to Hornby. He has Timmins cutting back on the inside. A simple mistake by them. Knock-ons both ways. And Nasta has come from the field. An ankle injury a couple of weeks ago. Might be struggling once again here in the final few moments. He takes a field goal option away from the Bulldogs. Patton has lost it. Patton lost it. He contends he got the ball back before it hit the turf. So mistakes from both sides here in quick succession. Still 5 minutes left. Here he is. Will hit the ground all right. Good call from the touch judge. Alan Fowler well positioned to make the call. We've got time off once again here. The Bulldogs waiting to get 5 in the scrum. Here he is, the former first grader himself, Alan Fowler.
Yeah.
Smith from the scrum win for the Dragons.
Let him go, hands off him.
They've had 3 draws here at WIN Stadium already. Are we looking perhaps at number 4 coming up?
2, release.
Timmins will play it. Riddell comes to Gorrell. Players in motion in front of them. Here's Roberts on the outside to Cooper. He's down the touchline. He comes to Patton. Keeps it going. One hand from Brent Kite. And what a try by the Dragons! From sideline to sideline. Some lovely passing. Terrific rugby league. And what a finish we've got. It's 28-26 with the kick from Riddell to come.
Well, it'll be an important kick by Mark Riddell, but what great hands by the Dragons players. They've worked the second man play in the second half sensationally well, and the passing was magnificent. Goal to Hornby, Hornby, the second man play to Amos Roberts, and then out in front of Cooper. He's looked good in open space, Cooper, the ability to get the hand free, unload the football, beautiful pick up by Kite. Wonderful try by the Dragons.
Well, it certainly was, and it was that second phase play. That's what caught Willie Talau out. He came in, finished up in no man's land, and this man keeper, he's got plenty of speed, good step back on the inside. But Kite did wonderfully well. He was a decoy runner to back up on the inside and come up with a great try.
Here's Riddell. 5 metres in from the eastern touchline. He kicked one from a harder position before. That was to convert the Cooper try. Here he is again. The strike is good. It misses to the right-hand side. He sliced it. It went the other way. He can't believe it. And the Dogs hang on for the moment, 28-26. It looked good off the boot. It just scraped to the right-hand side of the flag on top of the upright. They can't believe it on the hill.
They can't. This is a danger shed, this one for the Doggies. They must stop the roll-on from the Dragons, but they've also got to be wary of the penalty. They give away a penalty, the Dragons work the ball downfield. They must stop the roll-on here in this set of 6.
They come up to put a hit on Luke Felstow, screaming up from the kickoff. Reardon got there. Here's Lalota going from dummy half. 4 Bulldogs driving back to the Dragons 20. There are 2 minutes and 20 seconds left as Howe carts it up.
At 3, market square.
Plenty of time still for the home team. Anasta and Rauhihi watching on from the bench.
It's 4.
Riddell with 4 tackles gone. Plays it back to Hookie. It's a time for calm heads or a piece of inspiration from somebody.
Hold.
Riddell. He'll give it to Hornby on the last tackle. Grubbering in behind them. The kick was an unkind one for you, Ty. But the young winger did very well. Could have almost bounced away from him. He comes up with a wry smile as well.
And that's the tactic that the Dragons should have used early in the game, putting the ball in underneath. The Bulldogs are just looking to play one-out football here, winding the clock down. If they do that, the Dragons will get one more shot of 6 at them in decent field position. And the way they're playing and popping the ball out the back, they are a chance of winning this game.
I think you'll find at the end of this set, there'll be a very big kick by the Bulldogs. Put it right down deep into the Dragons' territory.
Here's Price playing it on the last tackle, 40 metres out. Here's Sherwin grubbering for himself. It comes to Roberts. He came up with the football. It was an all or nothing sort of play from Sherwin. 60 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, Brent Sherwin, the better option would have been to kick the football deep.
Riles now takes it up towards the halfway line. So the Dragons will get last one crack at them to try and break this 13-gate winning streak of the Bulldogs.
We'll see a long-distance field goal.
I don't think so, because there's 2 the difference, Brett.
I've worked that well, didn't I?
Back and come. No penalties here.
Here's Hookie. It comes to Lalota. Gorrell onto Hornby, the same play which saw them open them up last time around. Timmins. It comes away to Cooper. He stays alive, gets the pass back. The Bulldogs have it, do they know it's Timmins? 6 more tackles. 7 seconds on the clock. Roberts comes wide, fires it over the top. It bounces away from Hookie. He stays alive with it. Still going, fends away, trips over.
gives it to Lalota. Time is up. He'll be tackled, and that's the game. The siren sounded, and the Bulldogs win. No, they don't. Simpkins said yes, play on, and then changed his mind. And that will be full time. Bulldogs win it. Bulldogs win it 28-26. And Willie Mason, amongst others, can scarcely believe what he saw.
Well, it was the correct decision by the referee to call the game off. The siren had gone, and the Dragons players, they didn't realise. They were caught up in the emotion of the contest. The Bulldogs, they realised the siren had gone. They were screaming at Simpkins. The Hooters gone. And what a sensational game in front of a new ground record here at WIN Stadium. Tremendous game of football, and both sides have played their heart out here this afternoon.
This has been a production of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.
This program brought to you by TAB Sportsbet.